It's final exam week here at IPFW, and that means two things: the end of the academic and athletic year, and the close to the Mastodon Spotlight Show as well for the season. On our season finale this week, we're going to talk women's volleyball and women's basketball with head coaches Kelly Hartley and Bruce Patterson. Our show is called Mastodon Spotlight, and it's coming up next. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Maas. Welcome to the season finale of Mastodon Spotlight. Well, as I said a moment ago, it's final exam week here on the university's campus, and students trying to get their classes out of the way and finals out of the way. And we're going to talk women's volleyball in the first half of the show. And our guest is the head coach here at IPFW, Kelly Hartley. And Kelly, I know women's volleyball is primarily a fall sport, but you've had a lot of things happen with your team since the season ended back in November.
It's a fall sport, but it's really a 12-month sport. It's clearly a 12-month commitment when our kids sign up for this program, and really any Division I program or Division II nowadays. There's summer workouts they're getting into. As soon as they go home, they come back for spring or for preseason and their fall competitive season. There's winter conditioning and training, then you go into spring season. So it really never ends, and it's a 12-month commitment.
Let's talk about your program. Last year you really entered the fray in Division I, finished up 13-14, I believe, if my memory's correct.
That's right, and 13-12 against Division I teams. So we were over 500 versus Division I teams. Our two losses were against Division II teams, pretty good ones.
Well, Northern Kentucky is an old nemesis.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. They're better than, well, obviously by our record, they're better than probably half the Division I schools we play. Regardless of division, Northern Kentucky and Findlay are quality programs.
But nevertheless, a very good year considering the transition to Division I, a primarily Division I schedule. Yeah,
I think so. And the further it is in history to me now, I can look back and really feel pretty good about what our team accomplished. I know at the time I probably didn't appear that I was having that much fun, but I really am proud of those kids and what they accomplished against teams that we never played before, had no history against. We spent a lot of time in the bus. We know all the things we went through this fall, so but it was a good thing to finish right about 500 in a year that we were young as well.
Since the season ended, you talk about being a 12-month cycle. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what you've had to do. Obviously, you got to get them into a conditioning program. You got to keep them active in the classroom because they have to be eligible to participate in volleyball. You've got, as you mentioned, a spring schedule of sorts, and we'll get into that in a few moments. But you and Colin have also had to hit the recruiting trail.
Yeah, and Colin's coaching club ball, which I think has been a benefit for us. Him out looking at talent as well as developing relationships in the community with some Fort Wayne kids that we certainly would like to for them to think of us when they make decisions. We do have, and I can't say she's not signing a national letter of intent, but we have someone who's going to probably try out for our team in the fall, and she'll help us. So that's what Colin's been doing. Colin's been very busy this spring with club ball.
Well, let's talk about the fact that we've had to replace some people. Mm-hmm. And two people that come to mind, Deanna Brown, mm-hmm. and I'm drawing a blank on the second one. I knew this would happen. Yeah, Chrissy Miller and Jen Miller.
Right, our three seniors. Well, we'll obviously miss them a ton. Deanna led our team in digs, finished her career over 1,000 digs, also was a very dynamic athlete, jumped out of the gym. She's left-handed, so we'll miss her a ton. She was also named Female Athlete of the Year at the recent spring sports banquet, so we're very proud of that. And then Jen Miller and Chrissy Miller, the other two seniors. Chrissy only played 1 year for us, and I think I said it at our banquet, thank God, because she really offered someone who could go in and put the ball away, and we could rely on her for that. And she brought with her some maturity and leadership ability, so we'll miss her as well. And then Jen Miller, who finished her career as the block assist leader, the all-time block assist leader at IPFW. So we'll miss her in the middle too.
Well, let's talk about who you and Colin have had to go out and try to find as replacements for these three gals, and talk about guys you've been able to sign.
Well, back in the fall, I think we already spoke about this, we signed 2 Indiana kids, one from Michigan City, a setter, and then an outside hitter, and we're not really sure what position she's going to play for us, but she's a bigger body. We needed some height. I know you saw us play, so you probably agree with that. And she's from Elkhart Central.
So,
we're talking about the more recent signees?
Yeah, let's talk about some of the more,
2 international kids, Fabiana Silva de Souza. So I think I said that right. And then I have lots of time to practice. She gets here in August. And then the other person is Bianca. Bianca's from Australia. Fabiana's a middle, and Bianca's an outside.
You had a chance to do some international recruiting, and and this is the result, I believe. Mm-hmm. Talk about what that experience was like, going out of the country. And
it was a wonderful experience. From a recruiting standpoint, it was wonderful. I was exposed to, every day I was in a different gym looking at kids. They ranged in age from like 15 to 19, and so that was very exciting. Probably just as important, though, is what I learned as a coach, some new teaching methods, just their approach to the game and a different way of doing things. So I really value that experience.
And you hope to get to do it some more in the future if
And
Mark will
I
let you?
maybe I don't know if Mark really knows. I think I just flipped out for a week. No, we were able to do that, and it was kind of a last-minute thing. I've been wanting to do this, and the opportunity came up, and I really couldn't pass up that opportunity. And Fabiana, I did meet over there, and she was very interested right away in our journalism program. She's a very bright student, and so was Bianca. Bianca, the Australian, was an 1170, I think, SAT, will be a Chancellor Merit Scholar. Fabiana comes in as a transfer student. Bianca went through the clearinghouse, though, and has never been a full-time college student, so she'll be a freshman for us.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You've done some recruiting. You got some new people coming in. Let's talk now briefly about the gals that are coming back and what you hope and your hopes and
Mike, how much time do we have here? The girls we have coming back.
We got lots of time.
Well, I'm going to leave somebody out because I always do, but Amy Grove will be our only senior next year. She was injured this spring. It seems like she gets injured every spring. I feel really bad for the kids. She couldn't go on spring break. She had surgery instead on her Achilles tendon, which snapped during practice. One of those freak things. They say it's not an injury that happens very often to young female athletes. Anyway, so she needs to work hard over the summer and be ready for the fall, and she has a little time to do that, but it's going to take a lot of work on her part. So Amy will be our only senior on the team, and then juniors, Kirsta Solberg, girl from Ohio who's played probably every position on the court except for setter for us so far, and continues to train very hard, and she's in tip-top condition right now. Janelle Pollard will be a sophomore, actually, local girl. Sarah Leffers will play our libero role, and she'll be a junior next year. Nicole Ray, also local, will continue to play defense. And this spring she got a couple swings on the outside and did an outstanding job at 5'6", but she just jumped real well. And, okay, so I got upperclassmen out of the way there. Janelle Pollard will be a sophomore. I said her with the junior category because academically it'll be her 3rd year of school, just 2nd year of volleyball. And then our freshman class returning, Catherine DeVoe from Michigan, and she showed a lot of improvement this spring in the middle. Needs to continue to work hard and get strong, but the more she plays, the more confident she gets. Melissa Meinhardt we moved her in the spring from middle. She played a lot of middle, as you remember, in the fall, and we moved her over to the opposite. She has nice hands. She runs a nice swing offense, brings her approach inside, runs in behind the middle as well as swings out, runs a slide nice. So I think she's really comfortable and excited about that new position. Freshman class, Lindsay Brammer. Lindsay was named most improved for our team. Lindsay did a nice job in the middle. She's going to be an excellent blocker. And again, the more she plays, the more comfortable and confident she becomes. In the fall, she just didn't get a lot of time, and I don't think she ever really got comfortable with our system and confident like we need a middle to be. Who am I missing, Mike?
How about Lindy?
I don't have a sheet. Lindy. Oh my gosh. Erase tape. I'm leaving out the only setter we had in the fall who did a fantastic job and was named Freshman Athlete of the Year. She played all 104 games for us, was the only athlete on our team to play in all 104 games. And, you know, if she'd have been probably a little, well, if she got injured, we'd have been in big trouble. And if she mentally wouldn't have been as tough as she is, I think we could have been in trouble. I think that she was thrown in a very difficult situation being the only setter and a freshman. And she did a marvelous job. She has a very good understanding of the game. We need her to talk a little bit more.
And if we only had larger shoes to get her up.
You know, she's 5'4". It's, you know, she touches some balls. You know, it's not like she's not getting her hands above the net. But what she lacks in that type of a block, she digs some shot in the backcourt. She runs down a lot of balls, hand sets the ball, and does a lot of other things that I'm not willing to give up. So I'm real happy with Lindy, even though I forgot her.
We won't tell anybody.
And I'm probably missing somebody else. Just can't remember right now.
If we do, we apologize.
Yeah, yeah. And they know I'm an airhead, so they're really like, there she goes again.
Time for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule. And it's something Kelly alluded to a few moments ago. There are some changes in women's volleyball. And we'll talk about those and more when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment.
This is me, and my mom and dad, and my big brother Alex, and Jack. This is the day I learned that sandals got their name from sand, and that the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget I was sick. This was my wish.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, it kills over 1,500 people every year and injures 71,000 more. Inadequate sleep has been linked to health and safety risks, even premature death. But today, new treatments are helping millions get the sleep they need. So talk to your doctor or take our free risk assessment on the web at sleepfoundation.org. Sleep deprivation. It's real, it's dangerous, and it's more treatable than ever.
It's the most magnificent sight in the universe. This planet full of life and wonder. This planet we call home. As an Earth Team volunteer, you can help the Natural Resources Conservation Service care for it, right in your own community. Call 1-888-LAND-CARE to find out how, because there's just no place like home.
Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. We're talking women's volleyball with head coach Kelly Hartley, and during the break we did count numbers, and we did get everyone included as far as we know from last year's team. So nobody's offended there. I want to go back to a point you alluded to a moment ago where one of your gals, and I think you said it was Sarah Leffers, is going to play a new position this year. Let's talk for a minute. There is going to be a new position in women's volleyball, and we'll see if there's any other rule changes as well.
Well, we played it in the spring. As soon as the announcement was made that we'll play that next fall, it'll be implemented next fall. That's what spring season is for, to get used to those new rules and implement them on your respective teams. So we did our first tournament out, and Sarah did a fantastic job. You know, if no one else wants to pass the ball, Sarah will pass every single ball. And if you don't say mine pretty early and commit to passing the ball, she's going to run in front of you and take it from you. That's just the way it is. So she's perfect for that job. And she digs a lot of balls. She has the right attitude. She's tough. Kind of nasty. We like that.
I know that you and I had the chance to be with Arnie on one of his shows, and that's when you first brought it up about A, the new position, and B, Sarah being an ideal person for that position. What's that going to mean, the change,
What's it going to mean?
in terms of what
well,
you've been used to in the past?
I think that it should help our offense as well, and we've seen that in the men's game. Everybody thinks, oh, defense will be so much better. Well, if we pass the ball to target in our side-out game, of course our offense should be pretty good too. I think all teams do, but there were times where we would get in a rut and couldn't pass the ball to target. That makes it very difficult to run an offense. So hopefully, how much you have to sit through that this year will be less than last year. Just because Sarah's on the floor, and hopefully we're handling the ball a little bit better.
How about handle other rotations in that, though, in terms of the position of libero is a defensive position, but in the past you've had the 6 gals, and you've had, you've been able to substitute certain times.
Yeah,
certain
she's on the
people.
floor more now. She's passing all of our passing rotations. Okay, she's passing serve. In the past, she was off the court for half the time, so someone else had to do it. Which sometimes was ugly. But now, and we have other people who can pass the ball, but she obviously is our best passer, so it's perfect for her to be on the court at all times. And then defensively, we put her on the left side of the court. A lot of people put their best defender in the middle back. I just find that, and we've charted this, most of the balls are hit to the left side of the court. She also takes away a lot of balls in the middle of the court, off-speed attacks and so forth, that, us coaches always pull our hair out when those things fall, and she'll run those down, I believe.
We kidded with John in the back during the break about talking about Arnie Ball. On a serious side.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
on a serious side, Arnie's been here for 22 years, and you're going to be in your 4th year coming this fall. And I know, we've seen you out at matches, and you always, you hear and you interact with him in the office and so forth. What have you been able to learn from Arnie that's helped you as a coach?
I could never sit here and say any one thing, but it has been fun and rewarding to have a men's program that's been successful and coach alongside someone like Coach Ball. And maybe it's unique, maybe it's not. I wasn't certain when I moved here, that he'd be open to me coming in and watching practice or walking in his office unannounced, which I'm sure he loves that, and going, I have this problem and I want you to fix it or whatever. And of course, he doesn't fix it for me. We talk it through or whatever. But it's just fun to bounce things off one another. He's been a very valuable resource to me. I value that relationship.
Well, let's talk about the upcoming schedule.
I hope he doesn't see this.
Well, he's over in Italy right now.
Okay, good.
So he won't
We kind of have another relationship that he'd probably go, what? Usually I'm teasing him, and he's calling me Heartless instead of Hartley, and those sort of things. Yes, he's in Italy right now.
You'll find a way to get back at him, I'm sure.
Yep. He is in Italy right now, watching his son Loy play in the International Professional League. And hopefully he's not home anytime soon, because I think he's staying through the championship. And I think that's next week, so he will be home rather soon. And Sandy did not get to go. I'm sorry, Sandy.
Ooh.
See the grandbaby. But Loy and the family will be home for the summer, and I know they're excited about that.
Let's talk about the upcoming schedule for your team, because as I look at it here, and you were kind enough to give me a copy yesterday, some quality opponents. You got a couple of trips. Last year, unfortunately, due to the 9/11 situation, you weren't able to go to Coastal Carolina.
No, but I was able to go to Brazil.
Yeah, but that's true.
That's what happened there.
So it worked out for you, the team. Well,
Yeah.
what the heck.
Sorry.
But let's talk a little bit. You're going to start the season off on August 24th with an alumni match at a time to be announced, because unfortunately it's going to be right during Soccer Showcase.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking about, it's kind of tentative, only because I'm thinking about maybe we should do it on Sunday. Isn't it scheduled Saturday right now?
The showcase is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is Saturday the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got to look at where we can have our alumni match that weekend still, but around the Soccer Showcase, where our kids can participate in those activities, and then we can go over there and watch them. And I know it splits our staff too. Mike Jewell will probably shoot me if I schedule something during the Soccer Showcase. We don't need stats or anything, anything really big from you, Mike. Don't panic.
That's his name. That's his nickname.
No, it's not.
Panic.
He's doing a great job.
But then for real, the following weekend, 30th and 31st of August, you go down to Miami of Ohio, and you're going to be involved with Miami, Delaware, and Washington.
Yeah, that's Pac-10 Washington, by the way. Yeah.
It'll be an interesting way to get the season going.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Of course, we beat Miami last year in 4. We're real proud of that win. It was our first Division I win in the Gate Center. And Carolyn, the coach there, I think a lot of, and invited us down to their tournament. They probably want a little revenge, I don't know, but looking forward to that. And then a local athlete signed at Washington. So I don't know if that has anything to do with their scheduling, get back here towards her hometown.
Interesting. Then you start, you go to Oakland University, and I'm not sure if we played them last year or not.
We did. Well, we beat them up there in 5.
So revenge factor
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We play them twice next year, home and away.
And then in September 6th and 7th, you're going to be at the Purdue Invitational with Purdue, Butler, and Western Kentucky.
Yeah. Our team's looking forward to that one.
Interesting. Then you make a trip the following weekend. You go out to the West Coast, the University of San Francisco. Butler's going to tag along, I guess, on the airplane, and you're going to play with Butler, San Francisco, and Washington State, somewhere under another Pac-10 school.
That'll be a challenging tournament. And the Miami and the Purdue tournament, the first 2 weekends of play, not a lot of travel. I mean, we'll be able to leave Friday afternoon. I presume. I really didn't look at it yet, but I know that we won't have to leave the day before, and our kids will be able to be in school and be in classes for 2 weeks before we take that trip, and that'll be nice.
Then we have the home opener on Tuesday, September 17th against Bowling Green from the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah.
And
that's our first home match, yeah.
right.
Okay.
And then that next weekend, you have your own invitational.
Yeah.
And I know you're excited about that.
I am, because we didn't have that opportunity last year. And we have some good teams coming in. Marquette, Wright State, Marquette from Conference USA, and they last couple years have challenged for, I think won it maybe 2 years ago, their conference, although they recently had a coaching change, or they're looking right now. And then Wright State had a really good season last year. Joylyn Tracy is their head coach and was named regional coach. There's only 8 regions, and she was named regional coach of the year, so that's exciting. And who's the other person?
Western Illinois.
Oh, Western Illinois is coming from the Mid-Con. So we have representation of 3 other conferences at that tournament.
I'm told by John that we don't have much time left, so I'm going to skim
Okay.
along some of the rest of the
Yeah.
schedule. Some of the other opponents: Eastern Michigan, Oakland in the rematch, Chicago State, Kent State, which is a home match, Ball State. You go down to Evansville in October, at Western Michigan, Toledo, IUPUI, Valpo, Chicago State, Butler, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Green Bay, and then you finish the season off in mid-November with an independent national tournament. And can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's really important. That's going to be what we build up to. That's going to be our, well, it's an opportunity for postseason play, in a sense. The other independent Division I teams will be there, and it'll be a tournament setting with, awards and postseason recognition for our kids, all independent, all tournament, that sort of thing. And I think that's important. And I think our team has to get used to playing in November, playing their best volleyball in November in a championship setting, so that when we do get into a conference, hopefully very soon, we're prepared to do that and have that experience.
Final question, because we're just about out of time totally. Summer camps. What would you like to say about that?
Well, we're having them. I think they're pretty good. I'm real proud of our staff. They're in July, the 8th through the 11th, and the 15th through the 18th. And if you're in 5th through 12th grade, we have openings.
Is there either a number they can call?
You can get online, www.ipfw.edu, go to the athletics hit, and then there's a summer camps hit that, and then you can even pull up a brochure right online.
Thanks.
And thank you for ending the last Mastodon Spotlight with women's teams. And in the spirit of 30 years of Title IX and gender equity, I mean, it's kind of appropriate, isn't it?
I was always taught to be polite to women. I've tried that.
You're a good guy.
My wife would
Good man.
disagree through 29 years of marriage that I haven't been, but
Well, she's still with you, so you must not be all that
can't
bad.
figure that one out. But thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for all your effort this year.
Continued success, and we look forward come fall to visiting again, and also hopefully doing some matches or more matches on Channel 56, but we'll work on that.
Great, thanks.
Kelly Hartley has been our guest, head women's volleyball coach here at IPFW. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it's women's basketball with head coach Bruce Patterson. But that's when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment.
They came from every corner of the country. From small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still they come. Celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. In keeping with what Kelly Hartley was talking about a few moments ago, Title IX, women's athletics. In all honesty, it wasn't planned this way, but we're going to finish out this season of Mastodon Spotlight talking about women's basketball. We're happy to welcome back to the program the head coach here at IPFW, Bruce Patterson. And Bruce, first and foremost, welcome back. And secondly, as we talked about before we started taping, it's been a busy off season for you and your staff.
Well, thank you for the invite. I've always enjoyed coming. Yes, it's been a very busy off season. Actually, it was a very busy season. I mean, if you're talking about the recruiting and the activity, that took place starting last June and July, and was continuous all the way through the year.
I think we don't really need to talk much about the season past. We'll say, and we talked about it the last time we visited, interesting season, and we'll leave it at that. But now the real groundwork continues. And one of the things you talked about, recruiting is always a continual process to improve and enhance your team, and it's a never-ending process, and sometimes you get dead tired, but you have to do it. And what I want to talk about this segment, a lot of change is going to take place on next year's team. You've signed 9 new players, and if we can, let's talk about some of these signees.
Well, if you don't have a program walking in, you may have trouble figuring out who's who, because it is not going to be the same basketball team that you saw walk on the court last year. It won't take long to figure out, I assume, midnight madness. People will figure out that the talent level has exponentially grown over the year, as well as the numbers. Instead of walking out there with 10, 11 players, we will have actually 17 kids walking out on the floor the night of Midnight Madness.
And that is October 12th. We talked about that with Doug Knoll last week, and we're looking forward to that. 17 players. That's a far cry from the last 3 years here at IPFW, having not that many bodies on the women's basketball team. But let's talk about some of these gals, because you and your staff, Chris and everyone else, and Kurt, have worked very hard looking for talent to become student athletes here at IPFW. And let's talk about the bounty, so to speak.
Well, where you want to start? I mean,
wherever you would like.
We want to do this by position. We want to do this how you want to talk about
it. Position is fine.
Okay, let's. Obviously, one of the real problems that we had this last year was size. So we made an asserted effort to make sure we went out and got some people who could play the 5 and play it on a quality basis. I mean, we talk about the Maryland game being outscored 54-4 in there because we didn't have the ability to go in and score, despite the fact that I had one of the toughest kids that I could ever coach in Tiara Dudley playing that position. She was undersized and not able to score in there. So we went out looking for size in the 5. We captured a young lady by the name of Kelly Boyd, who comes out of the west part of the state. Kelly's 6'5", great basketball body, not heavy, not skinny, just a good basketball body, can run. Was recruited significantly by a number of other mid-con and MAC schools. We're very excited about that. She's a marvelous student, and that was the other piece that we wanted to make sure we went after. And she's a kid that got, you know, a very good score on the SAT, I'll just put it that way, and ranks in the top 4 or 5% of her class. So we're excited about having Kelly in here. Another kid we signed at the 5 position was Ashley Elmore. Ashley's about a 6'3" kid who had an all-state type season. Frankly, had she not been on the same team in Jennings County with a kid who was going to Kentucky and did make the all-state team, I honestly believe she would have. The talk after the top 40 workout was that Ashley was going to make the all-state Kentucky-Indiana game. Unfortunately, she didn't, but she's played in a couple all-star games, is a good student who has an extraordinary ability to score. If we can get her the ball and if she can learn to play the 5 in the college level with people trying to keep her from getting it, once she gets it in her hand, she is very capable of scoring. Has what I call a wonderful mean streak in her. She's a performer who likes to go in and bang bodies. You attach that with Kathy Hay, who we honestly believe will be eligible again, because Kathy has worked very hard in the classroom this semester, and Berea, we feel like we're very sound at the 5 position. At the 4 position, stop me anytime, Mike.
No, you're doing very well.
At the 4 position, we were lucky to get a couple really high-profile signees, and one of our goals this year, Mike, and it has been everywhere we've went, is to dominate the local talent. We want to make sure that every D1 player that comes out of this city takes a look at IPFW. That does a couple things. One, it builds a presence. It also puts people in the stands to come out and watch their local heroes work. And we've done a very good job of that this year, in that we got, first off, in the fall, we had Lindy Carey sign with us. And Lindy led their conference in scoring. I think she was 4th or 5th in the state in scoring, averages 24, 25 points a game. Lindy can actually play anywhere from a 2, she has ball handling skills to play a 2 spot, has the ability to score off the move or with the 3. Has a little bit of an unorthodox shot, but we just saw a guy on the men's team come out of here this year who had an unorthodox shot. I think be the all-time 3-point shooter in history of men's basketball here. So this is a kid a lot in that mold. Lacks a little bit of the foot speed that she needs, but is very smart, very capable, and an extraordinarily good shooter. And we also signed a young lady by the name of Geneva Murdoch. By the way, Lindy Carey was named the Prep All-Player of the Year, or All-Area Player of the Year. Then we signed Geneva Murdoch, who Geneva's just an extraordinary talent. One of probably the most overlooked players anywhere in the state, as far as I'm concerned. Geneva is about 5'11" to 6 foot. Can run and jump with the best of them, has great speed, can defend people when she wants to. And we've had a lot
There's
of
a key element there, I'm hearing.
And she'll want to. She's a great kid, very good student, had great coaching during high school. We feel very strong about Geneva's ability to come in here and participate very quickly. Has range all the way out to the 3-point range, a very good shooter from outside, or can take it in and bang bodies with you. So we're very pleased with that. At the 3 spot, and obviously, if I start to miss somebody in here, you jump
I'll let you
on me.
know.
All right. At the 3 spot, you know, memory, as you get older, Mike, that starts to disappear on you.
Yeah, that's what my wife tells me all the time.
At the 3 spot, we got a junior college transfer coming in here by the name of Angela Chambers. Angela is really out of the Indianapolis area and has spent the first 2 years at a junior college in southeastern Illinois. Angela is very quick, very capable young player, and we don't really know what to expect there as much. We know we got a marvelous athlete who can shoot the basketball, who can run and play, run and jump basketball. So we're excited about that one.
Just for clarification purposes, a junior college transfer, is she immediately eligible to play, or does she have to sit out a period of time?
No, she's immediately eligible to play. She graduated from junior college, has done a great job in junior college grade-wise. You know, obviously coming out of high school, the grades weren't what she needed them to be, but has done a very good job. We dug into that pretty deep, considering the bruising that we took at semester this year. We we didn't want to have any of that happening to us next year. And so, a great kid. Met her father. Her father's just a delightful, straight shooting guy. So we're real excited about Angela and what she can bring. She's actually got 3 years left, unlike most junior college kids, because her first year in junior college she blew a knee and set out the year, and so she took a redshirt year there. So she'll have 3 years left with us too. So that'll be helpful. So Angela's a kid that can help us quite a bit. At the 2 spot, we signed 2 different kids that we believe can help us. Obviously, we have Courtney coming back, who played a point for us last year. She'll move over to play the 2, and will hold that position very well. As you know, she was a great scorer for us, and I think giving her the opportunity to score without the ball in her hands will be helpful to her. But we signed 1 kid out of Michigan by the name of Michelle Mano, who is out of the Detroit area. Michelle is a left-hander who can really stroke it. This kid, when the 3-point shooting contest comes along, I'm just telling Brad to watch out. This kid can find the bottom when she wants to.
I do want to make one comment. She is from Dearborn Divine Child, and having been a native of Detroit, I know the Catholic League produces some tremendous talent, both for boys and girls. And I think, just from what I've heard you talk about, it's going to be interesting to watch her play.
Yeah, she's she's kind of a wild card in that we don't know whether she'll be able to help us next year because of strength issues. She's not as physically strong as what she really kind of need to be in college. On the other hand, we know she's got a lot of the attributes that you need, and she's got a great mental enthusiasm and toughness for basketball. Those 2 things combined can make you an awful good player, especially when you can stroke it. So that's very helpful. Then we just signed a young lady from Warsaw, another local kid by the name of Hillary O'Connell, and Hillary's got what I call a great basketball body. She's doesn't carry an ounce of fat on her. She's got broad shoulders, big upper body in the shoulders, and the strength in the top. Has a great stroke from the outside, and has good quickness. She can guard. I saw her guarding a number of people. We went down to the top 40 workout, and she was guarding some kids who were going to Purdue and other places and not really having a whole lot of problem doing that. She's, she was the latest signee. We got in on Hillary late because we didn't know Hillary Kulik was going to not play next year because she decided to go on with her life and her career. But Hillary was late only because of that, and this is a player that I think IPFW fans will like to watch long term. And then at the point guard, we're probably going to be, when the first game opens up, starting a freshman point guard, and that's going to be our difficulty, in that they're freshmen. Our strength is that they're quality freshmen. We got a kid coming in, another local player, a kid by the name of Jessica Ramey, who led her conference in scoring. If you look at all 4 of the local players, Jessica Ramey led her conference in scoring. Lindy Carey led her conference in scoring, was her 4th or 5th in the state. Geneva Murdoch led the SAC in scoring by 3-4 points, I think it was. So we brought in some strong ability to put the little brown thing through that orange hoop up there, and so we feel that we got the ability to score. But Jessica's coming in here. Jessica's a little undersized. She's about 5'4", 5'5", but she's a tough kid, and she'll go out and get nose to nose with you. Then we got a kid coming in from Michigan that is not a great scorer. On the other hand, she's got all the point guard skills in the world, great ball handling skills, can run like a deer, big body, 5'11". Some say 6 foot, but by 5'11", 6 foot. So that makes us pretty big at the guard position. Put up some nice stats last year, averaged 9 points a game. I saw her play a number of different times, but one of the times I saw her play, they were playing against the #1 team in the state with 2 kids that were going to Michigan State on it, and she didn't have any problems. She was holding her own and doing her thing. She isn't a kid that's going to come in here looking for a shot, but frankly, in our system, you don't have to necessarily go out there looking for your shot. You have to find people who can put it in a hole, and we got a number of people who can do that. Now, who did I miss, Mike? Did I do all right?
No, you did an excellent job. Right. I commend you. You got everybody: Lindy, Geneva, Angela. Oh, yeah, Ashley Elmer was the other gal from Jennings County. Kelly Boyd, 6'5". That's going to be wild. 6'5", 6'4". Kathy Hayes, 6'3". You mentioned Hillary O'Connell, you mentioned Michelle Mano, Jenny Green from Lansing, and Jessica Ramey. I guess we may want to mention one other person who transferred in who will be available second semester, and that's another Northside alumnus, and that's Maggie Bruning.
Well, we actually had 2 transfers coming in. Maggie Bruning coming in here, though, has a tremendous opportunity to get a lot of playing time at the 1. She's a gutsy, tough kid who will get out and fight with you, has very good ball handling skills. Another kid who can play great defense when she wants to. Maggie, if you're listening, if you want to. I love her to pieces. She's a wonderful kid with a great attitude, another great student, a perfect representative, the kind of kids that we want walking around here and it looks like they have IPFW printed on their forehead. So Maggie's going to be in here to help us, and the other transfer in is Nicole Ely. Nicole has an excellent opportunity to play too. So, frankly, what's going to happen is that there's going to be 17 kids out there, and they're going to be fighting for the opportunity to get on the floor, and that's something we didn't have last year. You know, we've got practices will be more fun, they'll be more energized, they'll be more pace because kids will be able to get the breather and still keep the pace going, and we're just looking forward to it.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule because there are a lot of quality opponents, and one special date that I do want to talk about come around January 2nd. But we'll do that and a little bit more when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment.
In another lifetime, one of toil and blood. When blackness was a virtue, the road was.
If we do not take responsibility for saving animals from extinction, we allow a part of ourselves to die with them. Help World Wildlife Fund protect animals in the places where they live by ordering a free action kit. Together, we can leave our children a living planet.
Come in, she said, I'll give ya shelter from the storm.
I'm sick of dealing with you. I'm sick of.
I work 6 days a week. Who do you think you
Stand
are?
up straight. Don't you ever talk back to me again! You just shut up!
What are you crying about?
What a child learns about violence, a child learns for life. Teach carefully. We can show you how. Act against violence. Call 877-ACT-WISE for a free brochure.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
I wasn't going to school because I was hanging with the wrong crowd. And one day, I was put into juvie for 2 stolen cars, robbery of a house, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And I was locked up. That's when I really realized that, I mean, it wasn't for me. Like, I was only in there 2 months, but to me, that was enough. It'd be better for me to stay in school, just get my education. I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. We're talking women's basketball with head coach Bruce Patterson. And now that we've talked about some of the players for the upcoming season, let's talk about some of the opponents. It's going to be an interesting schedule to say the least. And we start, as we said, October 12th, Midnight Madness. And that'll be an interesting night indeed. You'll be coming out, Doug Noel with the men's team, I think will be coming out like similar to last year. And the public will get their first official look at this new team. And then you get ready, and as I look at this tentative schedule, and I want to emphasize tentative, still might be some minor alterations here or there, but season, as far as we know, begins for real on November 23rd when you take your team up into Big Ten country, up to the University of Minnesota. And you're going to play in a little tournament there on both Saturday the 23rd and Sunday the 24th. Let's talk about getting out the gate, going up against a Big Ten foe and possibly somebody else.
Well, first let me start by saying, Mike, I want to publicly thank Al Buck, because Al takes care of all of our scheduling and has done a great job this year in getting that schedule put together. And so I just want to say I appreciate that. Although when we're in Minnesota, which was ranked 15th, I think, nationally at the end of the season, I may not be thanking him that night, nor maybe on January 3rd or 4th or whatever the date is. Yeah, but we're looking forward to it. We've put together a nice mixture of teams that we think we can compete against. Matter of fact, we know we can compete against. We honestly believe or hope that we can get to a 500 season next year. And somebody might say, well, gee, that's not a very aggressive goal, but when you have 9 freshmen or 8 freshmen playing for you, I think that's going to be pretty aggressive. I can see a few of our freshmen having a little difficulty when they walk into Williams Arena and look up at the facility that they're going to see when they get to Minnesota. So I suspect some of them might have a little problem when they go in to do that. But all that being said, we've tried to take them to go out and play the big boys. We want to test ourselves. And you can't ask for any more of a test than walking into Minnesota and getting a chance to play against a Big Ten team who competed very well in the Big Ten this year. We got something to prove, and if we can go up there and prove it there, then I think we got something going. Now, we don't know exactly who we play. We only pray that we get a chance to play Minnesota. I mean, it's a 4-person tournament. Mm-hmm. Frankly, I don't even know who the other 2 teams are in it. I didn't care. I mean,
get us there, give us a tip-off time, and away we go.
Al called and said, "Do you want to go to Minnesota to play in that tournament at the beginning of the year?" And I said, "Let's go. Let's go find it. Let's go find out how good we are." So that's going to start it off. We've mixed it in there with some other good quality teams along the way.
So we look ahead and I'll try to condense a little bit for time purposes. The home opener, as far as we know, is going to be November 27th. Great day because that's my birthday. Ferris State, first college I went to, so lots of good things there. But that's be the home opener. You're going to go down to College Station, Texas, in a tournament that Texas A&M is putting on the last weekend of November, first weekend of December. We're going to play some teams that we played last year: University of Toledo, University of Detroit Mercy, Bowling Green. I believe it's correct, Southeast Missouri State at some point, Western Michigan, and we owe them from last year at their place.
They'd probably tell you that they owe us, but you're right, we feel like we owe them. We gave one away up there. You remember you were on the bus with us, Mike, when I had the tears in my eyes because we threw one away that we had in our hands. So.
Yeah. Indiana State, going to go down to Terre Haute and play them in between Christmas and New Year's. Wright State. And then January 2nd, and I think I'm going to hold that one off for just a quick second and then talk about some of the other opponents. Centenary, you're going to play twice. IUPUI, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, you're going to play home and away. Eastern Illinois, Youngstown State, Cleveland State get to play home and away. Lipscomb home and away. Centenary home and away. Texas Pan American home and away. Again, some of those are other independents like ourselves while we wait to hopefully get into a conference someday. But I would think, from a selfish standpoint, personally, the highlight of the season may just be January 2nd when you take your team 90 miles up the road to the Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center in South Bend and take on Muffet McGraw and the University of Notre Dame. How did that come about?
I don't know, but I got chills just thinking about it. We actually got a call from them somewhere. The schedule was already made up. It was full of 28 games, and we got a call from them. Actually, Chris, one of his friends, he grew up with this guy coaching up there, and they called and said, "We need a home game. Are you willing to come up here and play us?" And we said, "How fast can we get rid of another game? We'll go do it." I mean, this coaching staff isn't the brightest group in the world, but we don't. what we lack in intelligence, we make up for in guts, and we're going to go find out how good we are. I mean, that's 2 years ago as a national champ, and they had a little bit of a down year, but it's because they had all those freshmen playing, but they were all very highly regarded freshmen when they went in there, and coach obviously knows how to coach. So we couldn't be more excited. We sell that every chance we get, that we're going to find teams like that to go play, and so we're looking forward to it.
It's going to be an interesting night to say the least, but Again, personally, I think that's the highlight of the schedule, to play a former national champion who's still going to be right up there when the preseason rankings come out.
I got to believe they'll be in the top 20 when it comes out. I believe Minnesota will be in the top 20 when the season comes out. So 2 of our games early will be against highly regarded ball teams.
John says we're out of time, but as always, I thank you very much for coming over.
Does that mean I talk too much?
No, you did great, especially with the 9 newcomers that you talked about. Described them much better than I can, and at least you got names that I can pronounce, and that's going to be good, unlike Terry Stefankowitz or some of your other colleagues over here at the university when they get kids that I can't pronounce or much less spell their last names. You did very well. But thanks again. Continued success. Have a good summer, and we look forward. We'll do a preview show come early fall, and we're anxiously waiting Midnight Madness in October and the start of the season in November. But thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Bruce Patterson's been our guest, head women's basketball coach here at IPFW. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to have some closing thoughts of my own, as this is the season finale for Mastodon Spotlight. That'll take place when the show returns in just a moment.
As time flows on, there are places we return to again and again. Places that comfort us with their serenity. Places that astound us with their beauty. Places where our memories come to life. Precious places, timeless places, places that with your help can endure forever. I'm Paul Newman. Help the Nature Conservancy save the last great places around the world.
I was a liberal arts major in college.
I didn't speak a second language.
What could I?
What could I offer the Peace Corps?
The answer surprised me. I served in South Africa teaching HIV/AIDS awareness.
Working with my students in Nicaragua was a great experience. We taught each other a lot about our countries and cultures.
This is the Peace Corps today.
Redefine your world. Join the Peace Corps.
Apply now at peacecorps.gov.
Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. As I said at the beginning of the program, this is our season finale. Been very fortunate. In 3 years, this is episode number 103 of Mastodon Spotlight. And it's been a joy and a pleasure and a privilege for us to come into your living rooms each week to let you know what's going on with IPFW athletics. John has graciously given me a couple of minutes to say thank you to a lot of people. First and foremost, Bernie Lohmiller, who is the head honcho here at Channel 56, who thought kindly enough of me a while back to ask me to become involved, and I'm grateful and appreciative to Bernie. John, behind the scenes, without John, this show wouldn't go, plain and simple. A great deal of thanks goes to John. To the coaches, and all the coaches here at IPFW have been kind enough to come on board the last 3 seasons. The assistant coaches, probably too many to name, but I'll try to get a few of them in. Joe Pachota, Fred Andrews from men's basketball, Chris Paul, women's basketball, Mike Harper from soccer, Colin Leiter from women's volleyball, Dave Schmedlin from men's volleyball, Dennis Smith from softball. I hope if I've missed anybody, I apologize, but the head coaches, the assistant coaches, a lot of the student athletes, we've been fortunate to have come on the program, and hopefully you learn a little bit more about them, not just for their exploits on the athletic field, but what they hope to do in real life once they get their education finished and their degrees here at IPFW. But we thank those people. We thank, as I said, Bernie and John, everyone else who's helped with the camera work and filming athletic events and interviews and that. And most importantly, we thank you, the viewer, for tuning in each week, as you have for the last 3 seasons here on Mastodon Spotlight, to see what's going on with the university and the athletic department. 2 other people I want to quickly thank: Athletic Director Mark Pope and Sports Information Director Mike Jewell. Without their help and cooperation, this program wouldn't be possible as well. To all of you, a heartfelt thanks for your help, for your support, for your watching our program. We're going to take a break now and come back in August when the school year begins. And about the middle of August, our first show hopefully would be a preview of Soccer Showcase. We had Terry Stefankowitz on. Going to be a great event, August 23rd, 24th, 25th. We hope to start about a week prior to that if all goes well. And we hope to make Mastodon Spotlight Season number 4 bigger and better than the previous 3. But that's our plans for now. And that's our show for this week and this season. Again, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Until this August, this is Mike Maas saying, have a great summer and go Dons.